Alright YouTubes, how are we all doing? Hope you're all well. Thanks for tuning in and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be a bit different. I'm going to give you a proper tour of the garage and the workshop and the whole setup and all the things that I've got in place in my setup, and give you a bit of a backstory of how it all happened. And yeah, I warn you now, there's going to be probably a lot of waffling and a lot of repeating myself, but we'll just go with it. And yeah, I'll show you through and talk you through the stuff and how it all started, and I've got some images of the early days of when it started, and yeah, I'll give you a bit of a backstory of how it all started. So this is the back, this is the tradesman entrance, this is the back, the mixing room. So the start of it is this is where the gas supply is for the spray booth, and this is the back of the mixing room. So you've obviously seen the rooms in previous videos. If you've watched my channel before and watched my videos, you'd have seen all these rooms, but I'll talk you all through it anyway. So this is the mixing room. Everything's here that I need. This is the setup, MEPA water base, the whole system's on MEPA. I've had a little bit of a tidy up for the camera, but it's not you know, it's not renovated or anything. So yeah, MEPA water, the computer system there with all the software on it, scales, gun wash machine that's really old, looks filthy, but I keep it in good order inside. It's the beauty of just working for yourself. You can keep things out how you want them. That was one of my sort of bugbears of working in other body shops, was things like the gun machine just getting abused and paint being chucked in them. It used to really get on my nerves, you know. When you want to keep your guns immaculate, it's going to keep your jobs cleaner. And then some people, you know, especially when I worked in crash repair, bigger places, wouldn't be everybody, and I'm not singling anyone out, but yeah, that used to be really annoying. You know, you chuck your gun in there, clear coat gun, and someone's just chucked a gun in there with red paint, not bothered swirling it out or anything. Things like that would really bug me. So yeah, that's one advantage of having stuff for yourself. You keep it how you want. So my place is obviously small, so it has to be quite well organised. It's sort of it's a little bit of a, you know, organised chaos really. So everything's got its place, and we're fighting for space all the time. So want to have, you know, as much stuff to do a good job as possible, but it can be a hindrance sometimes with space. So yeah, like I say, MEPA's the paint system that I'm on. I use everything from start to finish on MEPA. I've been on it for a couple of years now. As you'll probably know, regulars and people that have tuned in before, all my guns are SATA. So they're the ones that are currently being used at the moment. So the X5500s, the base coats are 1.2i setup. The clear coat is a 1.20 setup, and I've got a CC setup as well. Then I've got some 5000s. There's a 1.3 and a 1.2, 1.3 for clear, and I've got some 4000s as well. I've got a 3000 there that I use for just water-based primer, 1K water-based primer, 100B for 2K primer high build, a couple of mini jets, and a 1500B which I use for wet on wet. I'm on the SATA paint cup system with it all as well. It works really well. Obviously no adapters required for your SATA guns, so that works really well. I'm happy with that. And then yeah, clear coats that we're on here, I'm on MEPA CX4, CC9 and CX2, and I have got some CC14, the fixed tropic one. I've only got a litre of that at the moment, but once the CC9s run out, I'm gonna my top end, my premium clear, which I'll be using for the better jobs. I'll be going over to the CC14 for that. So yeah, that's the clears and primer. I'm on 4+1 and F37 for wet and wet, and all their other products really that are related to cars. mask wise, 3M for water base when I'm doing water base, and a SAR Vision 5000 for the top coats. So this is pretty much the mixing room set up. Got enough room to keep everything how I want it. It does get a little bit cold in here because this is just like an extension to the garage. It was just a fence originally that was just to partition off the garage from the garden. Then we put a roof on it. It is sort of insulated, and I've got a little bit of heating in here. So yeah, in the colder months, I have to try and keep the temperature in here a little bit. But yeah, the paint does get a bit cold. You know, some of you painters know that are on water-based systems. You don't want to let the water base freeze because it will ruin it. So I have ways around it, trying to, you know, I warm up the paint a little bit before I do jobs when it's cold. And yeah, so that's the mixing room set up. Then we go into the garage. Really tight. Good job I'm small. It fits me. So the booth is here in the garage. It's all internal. The air intake is taken from up there, if you can see it. So the air intake is taken from the garage, not from outside, which I find a little bit bad, because if there's a bit of warmth in the garage in the colder months, I'm not taking that freezing cold air, I'm taking a little bit warmer air. So I'll take you down this bit, which I won't show you too much in detail because it's a scabby old toilet. But down the back here, a little bit of storage here, some old guns and boxes and spot welder and stuff like that. Then this is sort of a bit of overflow storage in here, and this is the toilet. We won't go any further in there because I'm not too proud of that toilet. But we've got a toilet in here. All this was here when I come here. It was already here. I haven't done any of this sort of building work where I've built this garage or the toilet or anything. It was already here. So yeah, bit of overflow stock and some used paints and stuff. And yeah, sort of use it as a toilet stroke storeroom. So that's that. And then yeah, as you come down the booth, this is where the compressor is. So we've got colour chips here on the wall outside the booth door. They're all there. And then my compressor setup is it's a tandem, so it's single phase here. So I was limited to what I could get, the most CFM I could get out of single phase. So it's a tandem compressor, which is made by, it's a Workhorse. I can't remember, it's Fayac. Yeah, that's it, Fayac. So it's two 4 horsepower motors, which is the biggest horsepower I could get on single phase. But it's pretty much ample enough for running the booth, running an air fed mask and spraying, and with air consumption that may be being used in the garage next door. I've never really struggled with not having enough air. It may kick in a lot and it can get a bit warm in here, but yeah, it's pretty decent. Nice big tank on it. I think it's a 250 litre, something like that. So it's fairly new, this actually. It's a couple of years old. I had a bit of a lower model before with 3.5 horsepower motors, and that lasted me quite a long time. That was my first compressor. So yeah, that's the compressor, and then that's fed into this Kaiser dryer. It's a small Kaiser dryer. I've had this since I started, this Kaiser dryer. It's never really ever been switched off, and I've never had any issues with it. Kaiser is you know, it's a real top make of air products, you know, air compressor equipment. And lots of body shops I've worked in the past, they had all the Kaiser setups, and yeah, that's why I went for that, really, for the reliability of it, and I know how good they were from previous places I've worked at. So yeah, it goes into a Kaiser dryer, so the air comes straight out the compressor. I've got like a auto drain on the compressor as well, so the air comes straight in. It goes through this single filter again, which is Kaiser, which I normally change these every couple of years. I do clean this one out sometimes. That takes a bulk of it out, bulk of the oil and the moisture, and then that goes into the dryer. There's also another similar one to this, but a bit bigger inside the dryer. Again, that gets cleaned out. So that's 2 filters into the dryer, and then it comes back out the dryer, up here, goes for another one of those moisture and oil separator filters, and then into a charcoal one, and then it runs off. So this one runs straight into the booth. So first port of call from the dryer is straight into the booth, and then this one runs down to the workshop. So yeah, you probably see me in videos. I adjust my regulator, adjust my air pressure on my gun. I set it on the regulator on the wall in the booth. So because this is the first port of call for the air to go into, when I set it on that regulator, it doesn't matter what's being used further on down the air line. I don't get any fluctuations. I don't have to keep adjusting the pressure on my gun or on my regulator on my gun if I've got one on the gun. Setting it on the regulator on the wall to where I need it, it stays constant all the time, and gives you a little bit of a better airflow. I'm not restricting it at the gun. So that's, you know, everyone does things different. That's the way I do it. It works. I found when I used to just have it full pressure and then adjust on my gun, if air started being used next door, I would get little fluctuations and drops. So that's it. That's all the air setup. We've got a couple of new stands where they're like reconditioned. The guy, I said there's going to be quite a lot of waffling in this video. So yeah, there's a guy, I don't know where he's from, but I used to see him come in body shops that I used to work at, and when all the stands get gunked up with paint, so we try and clean them or whatever, he just come and do exchanges. So he obviously takes them away, strips all the paint, puts all new fixings on them, and reconditions them, and then yeah, then you just do an exchange. Really reasonable, 60 quid for an exchange. So once yours is gunked up with overspray and you can't move the bars anymore, or the, you know, all the twiddlers to secure it won't do up properly, I think that's an absolute bargain for someone to come out and swap them all over. So yeah, we've got some new fresh stands, reconditioned. I have bought an extra one now actually as well. So here's a control panel for the booth. Basic. It's a basic booth setup really. It's done by a company called Haltech. They made the booth, they made it fit in here as well. They sort of customized it a little bit to fit in here. It runs on single phase, so it's bottled gas. Obviously you see the gas bottles, bottled gas to run the burner. It's quite efficient, and bottled LPG burns sort of really cleanly. So yeah, it's, you know, works all the time. I've never had any issues with it. So bottled gas for the burner, then single phase motors on the fans. This is actually a shortened plant on this booth. It should be about this high, but with the height of my garage I was restricted, so it's got a bit of a shortened plant which they custom made so it would fit in here. And then yeah, it's just your basic setups. It's all manual pressure settings, so I have to adjust the levers as the filters get blocked and the pressure changes. I have to adjust them slightly to compensate for that. And yeah, it's just basic normal functions. Your burner on and off, spray and bake mode, and you set the temperatures on there. So now into the booth. Like I say, everything's got its place here. Every little nook and cranny we can fill, we fill it, you know, but you know, we don't have it so it's like we're on top of everything. The camera's probably going to be a bit funny lighting wise, because going indoors and outdoors, I've set it on an outdoor mode. So I'll keep the masking sheet in there, and yeah, everything's got its place, as you can see. So yeah, into the booth. Originally this booth, I just bought it as like, it was just galvanised walls, no, they weren't painted white. And then a couple of years after getting it, I sprayed the walls white and tried to keep it as clean as possible. It's a little bit shorter, this booth. It's about 4 foot shorter than a standard booth. That's the best I could get, but it's a full width of a standard booth. So yeah, I do struggle sometimes with a car and parts in there, but it just, you know, I'm used to it now. It just takes working out where to put the car and yeah, angle the car in different angles depending on where I'm painting. But yeah, quite often with jobs that I may have a, you know, couple of bumpers and stuff to do on the car, I do them separately. It just makes life a bit easier. It's not the most efficient way to do it, running the booth twice, but that's what I have to do. It's sometimes too much of a struggle to fit everything in and the car, you know, but it depends. It works and we work it out accordingly. Yeah, got another filter in here as well, which is it's just like a copper. It's more of a particle filter, and that's in there. And that's where I regulate on there. So 2 SATA air hoses. One I use for, I did try to do it. This is my anal brain, how my anal brain works sometimes with, I thought I'd keep a separate airline for just primer and then another airline for base coat and top coat, but they're both filthy now. But yeah, I use the SATA air hoses, the connectors on my gun, and also SATA, and yeah, it just works. They're just really reliable. These last forever, these airlines. They can withstand loads of baking, and yeah, because you do find the cheaper airlines, and I did have cheaper airlines when I first started, you find that they start breaking down on the inside and you start getting bits come through them. And yeah, I never found that. That didn't ever even cross my mind with airlines, that you know, you could start getting crap coming through the airline into your jobs. And then I started getting and it was like little black bits in jobs, and it took me ages to figure it out, and I changed my airline and it went. So yeah, so I figured it out. So yeah, that's why I sort of paid a little bit extra money for the SATA ones, because they're designed for being in a spray booth. Spray gun box, keep my dryers in there, keep tack rag and a few bits and bobs in there. LED lighting, this booth come with the lighting up here, and I added a bit of lighting. I could really do with lighting here, but it's probably going to restrict my space a little bit if I have lighting that's sticking out. But it is one thing that's I'm thinking about trying to do, maybe just get some lights, because I do struggle seeing lower down on cars sometimes when I'm painting them. I have to get on my hands and knees and look up and catch the light. But yeah, it's one job on the list that I may be doing, may install some lights sort of across the sides. But yeah, it all works. See the intake, air comes in from there. They're due changing now. They've gone dry, those filters. So yeah, I'm probably just going to hold out till Christmas now. I normally do a little bit of a revamp at Christmas and a bit of tidying up, a bit of maintenance work at Christmas. And yeah, so I'll get them filters changed, may even clean the booth out again. Most of this comes off the wall, so I've got like the 3M booth coating over the top of it. It gets a bit caked up here. I do stuff close up here, spray out cards, and yeah, if I've got 2 colours on the go, I try and keep one, you know, if it's on a part, I try and keep it up close here, so I know the oversprays go straight out the extractor. So that wall gets a bit caked. Most of it does jet wash off and clean up, and yeah, and it all works. So that's the booth. Then we come out here, and this is the garage next door where we do all the prep and the repairing. It's a decent enough size. Obviously we could all do with more space. No matter how much space you got, we could always do with more. We've had a little bit of a tidy up in here, painted the floor recently, last couple of weeks. I've had to smooth out the concrete in this area here, So just along this bit here, and the reason being is we've now got a pulling tower from GYS, and it just wouldn't work everywhere on the floor. It pretty much works all down this one side now, so any pulling that we do with that, we're gonna have to do down this one side. So there's pros and cons obviously with having small space, with, you know, if you want as much equipment as possible, it takes up room. So yeah, sometimes it's difficult to get some of the stuff that you may want equipment wise, if you're restricted on the space. So yeah, pretty much most of you who've watched my channel before would have seen this workshop a few times, or garage. Polished trolley there, with all my mops in. We're pretty much on Kosh Chemi for most of our polishing products. 3M, bit of cleaning stuff, and then my mops, which are Roops. All my mops are Roops pretty much. So keep all the flatting papers and stuff in there. All the heads, mop heads in there, which are Roops and Kosh Chemi. More heads and clay bars and stuff. And then all the polishers, got a Flex rotary, Roops rotary, couple of Bigfoots, dual actions, the 15 and the 21 throw. And then sanding, little air polisher, and some little small 3-inch polishers, and all the backing pads. And yeah, so we keep it in that so we can move it around, because we do polishing in the booth because we're restricted with space. So we can just pull that trolley in the booth. We've got everything there we need, and that works. So yeah, that's it. Then keep all the sanding stuff and aerosols and stuff like that in here. We're pretty much on 3M mostly, and Merca for the soft pads. Pretty much all the discs were on these 3M blue ones, which is their like middle of the road ones. They're not their most expensive like the purple Cubitrons, but they're not their like the cheap yellow ones. We have got some yellow ones there. Pretty much all the grits from like 120 to 500 in the 3M blues, and then like 800s were on the Sears. We've got some Indasa, we've got some other bits and bobs, and then all the rubbing strips for the blocks. They're all Cubitron. They're expensive, but they just last so much longer. It makes them cheaper than most of the others, to be honest with you, with how long they last. I reuse them all the time. We keep spares here when they're used, because some of them just keep going for ages. So yeah, that's all the sanding, various aerosols, MIG welder, fillers. We're on the Evercoat Rage Ultra and the Rage Gold. But we have been been given this, it's a bit of an old tin. I've been trying the MIPA ones to see what I think of them, and yeah, we've done a couple of good jobs with them actually. I liked it. So yeah, I like to keep changing stuff material wise. Sometimes I just like to try. You know, if there's something that can be improved, I'll try it and always try to improve it. So yeah, we've started weighing the filler out, and it was the guy's name's Gavin Pink. He's the guy that designed these blocks, Pinky's blocks. Really good those blocks are, and I follow him and I watch his channel. I love his channel and the work that he does. I do real nice top end work, restoration work, and he done a video not long ago about weighing filler, and I've had a few issues recently with change of temperature, and yeah, sometimes it's hard to work out the hardener. And it's true everything he said about, you know, if you've got a different amount of hardener in there, it's going to rub at a different rate. So we've started weighing it, and it works really well, sticking to pretty much what it says on the tin. On these Rage ones, they give you an indication on size, but it's still, you know, not as accurate as weighing it. So we've started weighing filler, and yeah, since I watched Gavin Pink's video, that's what sort of pushed me towards giving it a go, and yeah, it works, really works. So yeah, blocks and stuff like that here, a bit of PDR stuff down there, and then dent pulling, we're on the GYS just for steel. Got a few attachments for that. Works really well. We've got a couple of the pulling arms and stuff for it up there. Airline either side of the workshop as well, one there and one the other side. And then Merca dust extraction with a Merca electric DA. Prefer the electric ones. Obviously they're not consuming loads of air, which is a good thing, especially if we've got a lot to sand. But we do use an air one as well. But most of the sand is done with that dust extraction, and then we've got the extraction pipes for all the blocks and the pinkish blocks. We've got the 3M blocks as well, which are really good. So yeah, variety of blocks, dust extraction, a few heat lamps, just cheap stuff. There's some old, I think they're, I can't remember what make they are now, iWatters I think they are, those heat lamps. This is just a cheap eBay one, but it works really well. It's not that well made, but it works. Then my toolbox with just all your normal body shop tools that you'd have, hammers, dollies, sockets and all that sort of thing, not sort of mechanical tools, just body shop tools really, and trim tools and stuff like that. I won't bore you and go through all of that as well. So yeah, that's the toolbox. And then this is our shit trolley really, so where crap goes, so we can keep it out of the way, just safety goggles and gloves, and yeah, that's a mess. I'm not sorting that out, but it is an organised mess. And then chargers, drills, and just stuff that we may use now and again, and tape and stuff, mask in there. And then obviously we've got the scissor lift, strongman scissor lift. It took a lot of working out whether to get one of those or not, whether it was going to hinder me and get in the way, but so far it's worked okay. It doesn't get in the way. I have had to move it a couple of times. Sort of in the past few years ago, I did used to try and get 2 cars in there, and we did get 2 cars in there and work on them. I've had a couple of employees over the years, and if we're both in here to be, try and get the work through, we'd have to get 2. If it's just stuff on one side, I'd get one right over on this side, and then obviously one in the middle. But really with the ramp now, yes, took away being able to put 2 in here, but it is a struggle with 2 in here. It is really tight. So we try and work the jobs really. If it's a bigger job, me and Rita are on it together, or just try and get it doesn't happen all the time, but we try and just get a bit of a system going where, I'm in the booth doing the painting, Reese is in here stripping, refitting, and prepping and stuff like that, and just try and do that. And then I have to use the booth sometimes. I don't do really filler work in there, but I do prepping, small bits of primer, stuff like that, especially if the weather's not great, and it can be a lot of hassle here, especially if we've got a few cars on the go. Just moving everything around it, it's tight, and it takes a lot of working out some days of manoeuvring cars, and it's not the most efficient having it like this, because obviously having to, with weather, can't get cars out. If car's just been painted, we can't move it, swap it over with something that may need to go in the booth, and just stuff like that. Like logistically, it is hard work, and it does take up a fair bit of time in the week sorting the cars out, especially if it's sort of smaller jobs and they're moving in and out of here quickly. It can take up a bit of time, which makes it not as efficient as it could be, but it is what it is, and we have to work around it. So I'm quite used to it now. So that's pretty much it. So I'll sort of just give you a backstory of how it all happened here really. So I'll show you where it started. So if we walk down the alleyway a bit, it all started in that house there. So that end terrace there, the one on the end, not the flats, but the end house there. I used to live in that house. That house there was my first house. So sort of towards the end of 1999, I bought that house. It was my first house. I was single, well, sort of single. I bought it on my own. I was working for quite a big crash repair place at the time, and yeah, so I bought that house and met my wife, who I'm with now. I sort of was just starting seeing her. I bought that house and she pretty much moved in straight away, and yeah, I was working for a crash repair place, and then I was there for, yeah, about 5 years. We were there, and when I used to live there, I used to see this garage. So this garage where the booth is, and a guy used to run his business out of it. Originally, so I got told, he had that garage built, and he had a mobile fish and chip van at the time, and he had like a Luton van, fish and chip van, and that's why he had that garage built. That's why it's so high and higher than the others down here. He used to, yeah, get his Luton van in there and have a fish and chip van that used to go around the street selling fish and chips. And then he sold that business, or give it up, or whatever. I'm not too sure exactly on the story. And then he started a tow bar business. So when I moved in that house over there, I used to see a guy out here every day, and he used to have customers come here, and he used to do tow bar fitting, and he used to sort of do up old caravans. Yeah, the car park's there where I used to live, so I used to get in my car and go to work, and I'd see him put his roller shutter door up in the morning, pretty much same time I was going to work. And I used to be really envious. I used to think, oh, I'd love that garage. That garage would be great for doing private jobs in, you know. We all like doing private jobs. And I used to do, you know, private jobs in my mum's single garage at her house, and yeah, and I used to do private jobs with, you know, friends in their garages and stuff like that. So I used to absolutely love I really enjoyed doing the jobs where I wasn't at work, and, you know, just doing it in a garage, and, you know, and making do with what you had. And I used to find it really, what's the word, I suppose not exciting, but I just really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed doing private jobs in a little garage, you know, my mum's garage or whatever. And it really like stuck with me. I really wanted to do that, you know. Never ever thought of having it as a business, but just you know, doing private jobs in people's garages, away from the body shop, and not having all the right equipment and all the rest of it, and having to adapt. I just really enjoyed it. So I used to do a load of that throughout my whole career. I used to do loads of little jobs in garages, and you know, little home setups. And I don't know, it just stuck with me. I don't know, it was in my heart. I just wanted, you know, that's what I wanted to do in a way, but never ever thought of it as, you know, as a business. So yeah, anyway, so you're waffling on a bit now. So yeah, I used to see the guy doing his tow bar fitting from here, and yeah, used to think that garage would be great for doing jobs in. Do a little setup in there, and it'd be great for doing jobs in. And then we were moving. We put our house up for sale. We'd had Reese, and Reese was only little. So yeah, about 2000, it was sort of 2005, 2006. Our house was up for sale. It sold, and we were looking at all sorts of houses, but ideally I wanted a house with a garage. But the wife wanted a new build, so we was sort of looking. I was looking at old houses that had garages and big garages. She's looking at new builds, and then one day, at the time I was working for. I'd left crash repair. I was doing smart repairs actually. I was working for a guy who was fantastic, best boss I'd ever had. I was working for a guy doing it mobile. I didn't particularly enjoy doing it mobile, but I really enjoyed working for this guy. It was just me and him. He was fantastic. Anyway, yeah, I got him a smart repair van one morning, went to work as normal, and then on the way home, instead of coming down this back way, I went down the opposite street, which is, you know, where the front of where these garages are. And I went past the house and I see a for sale sign out there, and I thought, oh, I wonder if that garage, that house for sale, is the one with the big garage. So don't even think I had internet then, to be honest with you. I might have done, but anyway, I checked it out and I found out that, yeah, it was the one with the garage where the booth is now. And I went indoors and said to the wife, I said, you're never going to believe this, but that house with the the garage that I love. And she's like, yeah. I said, that house is up for sale. And she just looked at me and she knew straight away that we were going to have it. So yeah, straight away I got on it, rang the estate agent, found out. They said, yeah, it's still for sale. I've had some viewings, blah blah blah. Got the price. And yeah, our house had sold, so we was in a good position. We were ready to go. And then lucky enough, the guy that was that owned the house, he took it as a part exchange on something, a house that he'd sold. So he wasn't actually living there as such. So it was ready to go straight away. And yeah, that was it. Sorted that out, got the house, and yeah. And then at first I thought, you know, I've got a garage, I can work on my own cars, I can have projects on the go. I had all these big ideas of just projects, and yeah, just having a big garage. And I didn't care what the house was like. The house was okay, like any house, in it. You want to do it to your own taste and stuff. Probably not as big as what the wife wanted house-wise, but the garage was plenty big enough for me. So yeah, that's what I thought. I thought, you know, I've got somewhere now. I can do a bit of extra work, and get it sort of set up how I want it. And then even then, I sort of wasn't really planning on sort of making it full time in there, you know. And then yeah, I got it sort of half set up. What I was doing is I was using my smart repair van, friends and family or whoever, you know, little jobs that people wanted doing. I'd just use the van as like the station of where the tools and everything were, and I'd just park it outside and put the cars in the garage and start, you know, just doing the odd jobs in there. And that's where it started really. And then a few more odd jobs turned into a few more people asking me to do odd jobs. And then I was sort of, where I was working, we were sort of transitioning from smart repairs. The guy we found a unit, we got a booth in there, we set it all up, you know, to how we wanted it. Started doing bigger jobs with the guy I was working with at the time. And yeah, it got to a point, I think, where I got a fair bit of experience working with him, dealing with customers, pricing jobs, and I was pretty much doing, you know, the majority of the work as well. And it felt like I was running a business, even though it wasn't mine. It just felt like I was running a business, you know, it was great, you know. He's paying me to do a job, and I was doing it, and I gained experience from it, you know. Never really working in crash repair and working in other places. You're just a painter or panel beater or whatever you are in there, and you don't sort of deal with the money side and the running of it and dealing with customers and pricing jobs and all that. I'd never had any of that experience really, but I gained it working with this guy, because it was just me and him, and he was sort of expanding a little bit as well. And I just thought, I got to a point where I was getting people asking me, you know, all the time, and people knew me, you know, in the trade, people that are in the trade with, you know, car sales. I've got friends that I went to school with that are in the motor trade, and yeah, I was getting asked more and more to do work. Felt like I gained experience, and I got to a point I just thought, you know what, I reckon I could do it, and so that's what I done. I sort of set it up a bit better in there. I set it up. I had an extraction box. While I was still working for him, I set it all up in there. No spray booth, just that garage. Set it all up in there, and yeah, got to a point where I saved up enough money to cover 3 months wages. Like I say, in the beginning I knew people in the trade, and the paint factor people, and who I still use now, Paint Services in Siren, so a bit of a shout out to them, and they got me going. They laid me on enough materials and give me 3 months to sort of pay it off. So I got 3 months worth of enough materials to do the work properly. Got the equipment sort of as I went along, got more and more equipment in there, got compressor in there and all that, extraction box, and yeah, it was set up, and yeah, got 3 months wages behind me, and then just took the plunge and went for it. Handed in my notice at work, and then yeah, and that's when it started, and that was 2006. That was. So yeah, it was hard when I first started, because I was working all day for the company that I was working for, and then I was working every night, just trying to build up a bit of a customer base and build up some money behind me to get, you know, to make sure that, you know, I can pay my bills every month. And yeah, so I was just working day and night, all weekends, and then got to a point where, you know, I had some regular work sort of built up, and yeah, and that was it. I took the plunge, and yeah, and that's how it started. So yeah, the first few years was just doing everything out of the garage, no booth in there, just doing everything in there, using space heaters and, you know, infrared lamps for drying, air drying stuff, doing all the prep repairs. It was a good big space in there though, without that booth in there. I had a mediocre extraction box that worked just enough, but it worked, and the results were all right. They kept come all right. You've got to adapt, haven't you, in this job, to your environment. So I adapted to it and used to get fairly decent clean jobs out of there. All my air setup was decent, so I got all the basics sort of in the right place, and yeah, just didn't have the booth, and yeah, adapted to it, and yeah, and it worked. And then just after a few years of being next door, the guy that owns this garage, it was rented out. Someone was renting this garage for storage, and then they left this garage, and I know him really well, still renting it now. He said, oh, if you want a bit of space, you can park at the front of the garage if you want a bit of space. He said, because it's empty at the moment, and he said, I'll give you the keys if you want, if you just want to, you know, store some cars in there, to give you a bit of space, just to help me out, which was great of him. And I said, yeah, that'd be great. You know, I'll chuck you some money for it. And yeah, so yeah, just started using this garage. Had nothing in here, no setup, just started using it. It basically, how it helped me out is I could paint something, get it sort of touch dry, and then not worry about the weather, leaving it outside, and I'd bung it in here, and I could get on with something else. So it went from, if I painted a job in there, pretty much that workshop was redundant. If the weather's okay, I could do stuff sort of outside the door. So yeah, I'd start paint something, get it painted early enough, get it in here undercover, and then I could get on with something else. And that's sort of how that started. And then a couple of months went by, and then he approached me and said, do you want to make it more permanent? You could rent the garage and use it properly. There was no electric in here or anything, so I had to put electric from my side into it. And I said, yeah, I'll be up for that. And we worked something out, and yeah, and then I started renting this, started setting it up, and yeah, cleared stuff out there. So once I started prepping and repairing in here, I just used to use that garage as a booth, really. Never had no booth. Time went on again for a little bit, and thought, you know what, I reckon I could get a booth in there. Made some inquiries, and yeah, Haltech come out and said, yeah, they could put a booth in there, and that was it. I put a booth in there, and that's pretty much where we are today. So yeah, sort of, when was that? It was probably about 2012 the booth went in there. something like that. I can't remember now. Around that sort of time. So yeah, and that's how it all started really. I'm giving myself a bit of an headache here because I'm waffling on a bit too much. But yeah, I thought I'd give you a backstory to how it all happened and show you the setup and yeah, how I got to where it is today. Like I say, it's not ideal, but it works, and you know, I'm happy with the results I can get from, you know, from this little small setup really. It's not ideal. I'd love a unit. I'd love it. I really would. But this keeps the cost down here, and it works. Like I say, I couldn't have any, you know, I could only have one person working here really, you know, so Reese is here, and that's about it. You couldn't have any more than one extra person here, but it works for the two of us. And yeah, it's you know, it's hard work doing this for yourself. But people think like you're making loads of money, and I probably did make pretty decent money back in the day, but as things go on, any extra money that this business does make, I stick it back in. I'm always looking to buy better equipment or better materials, and the trouble with it is, what I find anyway, I think with the setup where it is, bit of a backstreet garage, people sort of have it in their heads that it's going to be like rock bottom dirt cheap. I don't know where I am with pricing with jobs, to be honest with you. It seems a real struggle lately to price jobs right. I think people, you know, people are struggling for money, and people are claiming on their insurance. I feel that's how it is at the moment. People are claiming for smaller damage. If your price is over the excess, which it's you could easily go over someone's excess with this job. They're just claiming on their insurance and worrying about their premiums later. It's just for now really. But yeah, I do struggle with that side of things, because I want to do a good job, and some jobs don't warrant it, and I don't know. I just, it seems to be a lot more lately that are price jobs. I'll be totally honest with you. I'm not going to be the cheapest. I put too much into it. I want the jobs to be right. So I'm not going to be the cheapest, but there's no way that I think that I'm, you know, mega expensive. And I know I'm not, but it messes with your head. It messes with your head when you price jobs. You think that price ain't wrong. And you just don't even get replies. Just spend so much time pricing jobs up, breaking down the parts, materials, labour. I'll be totally honest with you, I charge £40 an hour. I've got 30 odd years experience in it. I make sure the jobs are right. They won't leave it unless they're right. And I don't think that's out of the way really. But I think people maybe half expect it when they come down here, because of the location of it. That it's expensive, and I know people struggle with money. We're all struggling with money. I've got to keep going. It's like month to month. It's no like extra every month. It's like I get through that month and it just pays the bills. You know, it's I sound like I'm moaning, and but yeah, I'm not. Everyone's got their own circumstances, so it's yeah, but it can be hard. I can't do a lesser job. That's the trouble. I can only do the job the way I do it, and there's nothing I can leave out really to make the job cheaper in my eyes. I've got to use what I use on. I ain't using the most expensive of everything. I'm middle of the road on the paint and stuff like that. But I want the jobs to be good, so I can't change it. I can't just make a job worse, if you know what I mean. The jobs are going to be done how I do it, and I'm not going to change that. Maybe that's a bit of a downfall on part where I might lose out, where if it's cheaper and just smashing the jobs through quicker and people not expecting it to be great, they just want it tidied up. Maybe there's more money in that, but it's not always about the money. I want the jobs to be right, really, and yeah, you try your hardest all the time, and it can be disheartening. But anyway, that's enough of that. Anyway, I'm going to end it here now. So yeah, I thought I'd give you a good show round it all, and to explain to you how it all started, and how I got to where it is now. So yeah, it started in 2006, and yeah, and this is where we're at now. So yeah, we've got a few jobs on the go. We've got a little 330 Club Sport E46 here, but I'm not going to go through that. That's going to be in another video, and we've got a few other bits and bobs on the go. But yeah, work's sort of mediocre at the moment. It's not mega flat out, but it's not completely dead neither. It's just about right, really. It's how you want it, isn't it? But it doesn't matter how it is. If there's too much, you're pulling your hair out, and if there's not enough, you're panicking. So that's how we are as humans, I think. It's not a lot I can do about it, but yeah, it's all good. Everything's good, and yeah, really appreciate everyone watching. Thanks for listening to all my waffle, and yeah, we'll see you again soon. See you in the next one. Cheers.